Good day, and thank you for tuning in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. For all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time, I'm Pastor Pope, and thank you for allowing us to come into your listening and viewing environment. We are here with you from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, broadcasting live from the FijiWater.com sponsored studio, where you can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. You can discuss dating and relationships. Whatever's in your heart, whatever's on your mind, God is concerned about that which concerns you. And that is the reason that we are here with you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, where our broadcast is brought to you daily by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock, where the water collects in a natural, sustainable artesian aquifer, where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the blue cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is not just ordinary water. This is Earth's finest water at FijiWater.com. And for those of you who continue giving on the contributions pages of our websites at New Life Ministries International.com and New Life International CDC.com, and those of you who are using the QR code or the link provided on Facebook and YouTube, and those that are now using Zelle, on the T-Mobile caller text line at 267-992-1424. We thank all of you for your support and for your commitment as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here for you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. So I want to remind everyone who is tuning in for the very first time, I'm Pastor Pope, Senior Pastor of New Life Christian Center, 400 Hillcrest Avenue, Wilmington, Delaware, 19809. Service begins every Sunday at 10 a.m. We go live with our Sunday sermon on our YouTube channel at New Life Christian Center Pastor Pope at 10:45 a.m. if you're not in our area and not able to join us. However, we're in our Holy Week also. So this Friday, we will be in our virtual sanctuary. We will not be in person, but we will be in our virtual sanctuary broadcasting live for Good Friday. So tune in, and that will be during the time of our normal 3D broadcast from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So wherever you are across the U.S. and wherever you are around the globe, tune in so you can be with us for both Good Friday, and then of course we will be back in person on Sunday in Sunday service at New Life Christian Center, 400 Hillcrest Avenue, Wilmington, Delaware, 19809. So, also I'm going to remind everyone that we don't want anyone going hungry, so we invite you, if you know someone who is in need of food, our New Life Food Source Pantry is available to make certain that we are available to anyone who may be in need of food. So you can contact the T-Mobile caller text line at 267-992-1424, and we will make certain that food is available to you. And I want to remind everyone we want to stay connected with you 7 days a week. So tune in to our internet radio station, WKAPFaith.com, where we play music 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, music that will encourage you, empower you, and inspire you. And so I'm going to address a communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that your best friend, you say, is jealous of your success. You said she continuously makes comments about how she never has any opportunities and you continue to have success. What she doesn't realize, you said, is how hard you have worked to get to where you are today. So let me first of all break this down. I'm going to help you today to eliminate some of the anxiety about what you're experiencing. The way that I'm going to do that is to tell you this. the person that is complaining about your success instead of celebrating your success is not your best friend. She is a friend that you've known most of your life. She's not your best friend. Your best friends are people who, and notice I put an S on the end of that, because there's no such thing as a best friend. You have best friends. You have friends who are their very best. They're the best people that they can become. And so they're never going to be jealous or envious or jealous of your success. They're going to celebrate your success. They're going to applaud your success. They're going to encourage you to work harder to be more successful. They're never going to sit around in envy and experience jealousy of your success. So the first thing you've got to do is change your thought process. You've got to realize it's not your best friend. This is someone you've known for a very long time. That's all. And it's okay that you know her. It's okay that you can be an example to her. But when she starts making, well, you said she does it continuously. When she's making comments about how she never has any opportunities, you have to remind her that opportunities have come and sometimes you've missed those opportunities. What she has to do now is look forward to the next opportunity. See, people go through life missing opportunities because they don't align their will up with the will of God. They have their own agenda and they can't see past their own agenda. And so consequently, they're not aligning their will with the will of God. And so what happens is they miss the opportunities. You know, in the Christian faith, we've heard over the years, people will say, I don't want to miss God. The way that you miss God is to have your own agenda and not line up your will with the will of God. That's how you miss God. And when you miss God, what that implies is that you've missed an opportunity. So you have to remind her that she may have missed some opportunities along the way. But that doesn't imply that she has to miss them moving forward. And that has to be the focus, not on what you're doing, because you have to continue your success. And you can feel free to remind her that you've worked very hard to accomplish the success you've accomplished to date. And remind her that you're not done yet. You're not done working to succeed, because there's a future. And the future is not the present. Newsflash. The present is where you've worked to arrive today. You've trusted God to arrive today. Where you are right now. You trust God that you're right where you're supposed to be. But there's more to come. The problem becomes that we don't really understand the importance of aligning our will with the will of God. And when that happens, we will never miss an opportunity. We won't miss an opportunity if we are aligned with the will of God. So we have to, first of all, examine ourselves. And what happens for many people when they don't achieve the success that they desire to achieve, they won't examine themselves. They will say, because it's the easy way out, they will say, I don't have any opportunities. Well, that's not true. The reality is that every one of us, when God gives us the breath of life, every single day, there's a new day with new opportunities. And the reason we know that is because the scripture tells us there's new mercy every day. So there's always going to be new opportunities. But we have to align our will with the will of God. And then we have to trust God to merge our will with his will so that we can then begin to experience what God wants for us. And what I mean by that is this. You have to be a creator. You have to be an innovator. This is for all of our listeners and viewers. Because God wants us to take dominion over the earth, over our lives. So you have to be a creator, you have to be an innovator. You have to look for ways to become better versions of ourselves. We have to look for ways to be creative in our lives. We have to look for ways to create and not just consume. So we're constantly becoming better versions of ourselves. But we have to recognize that every day there's new opportunities forming before us. Whatever they may be, they're forming before us. And we have to look for ways to take advantage of those opportunities. And what I mean by that is, and I want to restate that. We have to look for ways to maximize those opportunities. It's not just taking advantage, it's about maximizing the opportunities. And so when opportunities come and we have become a victim, we want to say, well, I don't get any opportunities. That's what people say. But that's not true. And one of the things that there's life and death in the power of the tongue. So if people are constantly saying they don't get any opportunities, eventually their perception becomes their reality. They start to believe it, but it's not true. It's not a fact. It's an opinion. So we got to change language. So she may be assigned to you for you to help her begin to change her language. And if she refuses to do so, as time goes by and all she does is continue to make comments about your success, then you're going to have to step aside, because now you would then be getting in God's way, because then you find out she's not your assignment. Your assignment is someone who takes the information that you give them and they begin to apply it. And then over time, things begin to change. And people often forget that it takes time to make changes. It takes time to make progress. It takes time. And so we have to recognize that first and foremost, she's going to have to change her thought process, but you're also going to have to change your thought process. She is not your best friend. She is just someone you've known for a very long time. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. If you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will move you into our queue so that you may become a T-Mobile customer and experience America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill, and if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill. At T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you are dating someone, your son is a single man dating, you said, age 41 with no children, and he wants to date someone who has never been married. He wants to date and marry someone who has never been married and has no children. And you keep telling him to explore all options. So here's the reality in your communication. As I was prayerful about this, you've raised your son as a single mother. Your son has seen the challenges that you have endured in life. He has seen the difficulties that you had to endure dealing with being a single parent. He has watched and observed the drama you've endured being a single mother. And he doesn't want to complicate his life. Now, I will tell you that your story is not someone else's story. And someone else's story is not your story. So he can't just, and I know you said he would be listening in today, so welcome to the broadcast, my brother. But here's the reality. He can't look at everyone and put everyone under the same category. There's nothing wrong with him deciding what he wants for his life. But you are correct. He may be missing out on what God has for him. So once again, you've got to look at the dynamics. But I'm going to encourage you to do this. Whomever you're going to date, and I'm talking to your son now, you're going to need to align your life up with God. Get in. You're not in our area, I'd invite you to our church, but you can tune in on Sundays at 10:45 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. But here's the reality. You need to get into the Word of God. And you need to get under some biblical teaching. And then whoever you're going to date, you need to invite them to go to church with you. And now we go back to the revelation that God gave me about dating. And it doesn't matter if she's single and never been married, or it doesn't matter if she's been married and divorced and has children, or she's a single mother. What matters is that you take her to church 3 times and out to lunch 3 times. Because you need to really know where they are spiritually in their life. I don't care if they're single and unmarried and no children at all. If they don't have a relationship with the Lord, they're not for you, your son. Now I'm talking to you again. They're not for him. And if they have no relationship with the Lord and are not willing to be led by a man of God, that's not who you want for your son, and that's not who he should want. Because we live in a society that is spiritually broken. We live in a society that is spiritually bankrupt. There's nothing in the account that will allow them to continue moving forward because they're not grounded in Jesus Christ. They're not grounded spiritually. They have nothing to build a foundation on. So what I'm going to encourage your son to do, and because you're tuned in today, at 41, I'm going to encourage you to do this. Before you even focus on who you're going to date, start going to church regularly, not just on holidays, but going regularly. Not just every other week, but every Sunday. Start going to church. Your mother's in the church. Go to church with her. If you decide you want to go someplace else to another church, that's fine. But first, go there. That's simple. If you don't want to go to church with your mother, reach out to me. Your mother has my contact information, but it's everywhere. Call me on or text me on the T-Mobile call or text line. I'll find someone for you in your area. One of my brothers in the Champion Network. And I will direct you to one of them in your area. So you can go to church, attend the church, get grounded in the Word. And then you can start the process of dating someone. Because the reality is, you don't want to, and I've used this analogy as a joke, and I've said this to my own children, but I don't want my children to date and marry someone who's a nut. Because I don't want them to get married and bring home a cluster of nuts, meaning grandchildren. So I don't want that for myself, and because I have the love of God in me, I don't want that for you either. I want you to experience the fullness of God. So I'm going to encourage you, start going to church with your mother. Start there. If you don't want to go to church with your mother, as I said, reach out to me. I will make certain that I find someone in your area from Pastor Joel's network, or the Champion Network that we're part of, and I will direct you to one of my brothers in the gospel. So you will have a place to worship and get grounded in the Word, and then you can start the process over again of dating, but this time the right way. Because everything else that we've done is not working. We've got to do it the right way, and that is the revelation of God. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by Charles Tyrwhitt, located in London, the UK. They also have stores in New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and at the King of Prussia Mall in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. So if you're in any of those areas, stop in at the retail stores. They have everything that you could possibly need for a man. And if you are not in any of those areas, you can order from Charles Tyrwhitt at ctshirts.com. They will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. And the White Company, located in London, the UK, they also have a store on Fifth Avenue in New York. So if you're in New York, stop in at the retail stores. They have everything you could possibly need. Home goods, clothing for men, women, and children. And if you're not in New York, you can order from the White Company at thewhitecompany.com. They too will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you are struggling with an empty nest. You said you are struggling because it is now just you and your husband, and the transition has not been smooth. So you're not alone. There are many people who struggle with an empty nest for a variety of reasons. So let me make certain that I break this down. And I know what that's like, because I've been an empty nester for a while. Our children are grown; they're adults, adult homeowners. So they have their own lives, and as much as I love to spend time with them as often as possible, and I now have 2 grandsons, so I'm enjoying this part of my life because I have a little bit of movement in the house from time to time, but we're empty nesters. You are struggling because it's just you and your husband, and you're used to having the responsibility of children in the house. Now you have a senior in college who will graduate in May. You have a freshman in college, God bless you, who is going through their first year of college. They're not at home except during break, but you struggle when they are not at home. The reality is that you can no longer focus your life on the lives of your children. Now, because they're still in college and dependent on you in that way, you are going to continue parenting them, but they're not going to be home except on break. And if they're doing internships, they're going to be gone even during the summer. So what you have to do is focus on your own life and the future of your children, which means you can really focus now on, and I understand it's still a little difficult, some might say a little premature to focus on the future of your children because they're still in college, but they're away from home except on breaks. And they're far enough away from home that they don't come home on the weekends. So you got to realize that it's time for you to begin focusing on your own life so that when they're completely gone, you're not struggling. See, you've been responsible for them like so many others. And I will tell you what often happens to adults when they become empty nesters. They start to feel like they don't have anything in common. You know, you don't like the same things. You do different things. You enjoy different things. And what I will tell you is that's okay. And I'm going to give you an example of that. So anyone who knows us knows my wife is very much into flowers and plants. So every week she buys flowers to put in the house because she likes flowers. We have a standing joke, and that is that if we go someplace to a store and they sell plants, she's not allowed to leave the car. It's a joke, but you know, because she'll want to buy a plant. She'll want to bring a plant home, or she'll want to buy a plant for the church, but she loves plants. And I get it. There's life in flowers and plants. But my joke is I can't eat them. So because I can't eat them, I'm not interested. She loves to go to the flower show every year. That's something she enjoys doing. I don't go. Sometimes she will meet our daughter there. Sometimes she'll go alone. But her comment is, that way if I want to stare at one flower for an hour, I can do that. Because if you go with me, if I ask you to go with me, you're going to want to look and be gone. And she's right. I love golf. I love to run. She's a runner. So there are things you can do together, but you're not going to do everything together. And that's okay. You've got to be okay with that. You don't have to struggle that both of you have to do the same exact things all the time because it's just what you're supposed to do. No, there are moments when you're going to do something that your husband doesn't enjoy doing and he's going to do something you don't enjoy doing, but you'll be back together at dinner time. Because at the end of the day, you're coming home. And I'm saying all of that to say, you've just got to focus on building your own life now. And still parenting your children, because it's only going to get worse. They're going to graduate from college, go off on their own, date, get married, buy homes, start having children, and you're still going to be at home with your husband. So you have to focus on your own life. And you can focus on, because they're young enough, they're still college students, you can focus on the future of your children. What is it that you want their future to look like? How can you assist them along the way? How can you help guide them along the way? How can you give them instruction and recommendation that will help them to build their careers? Because you've already done it. And then pray that God will order their steps. This doesn't have to be a difficult transition. It's just a transition. Allow it to be, allow it to flow, allow it to be smooth. And you'll find that you'll have a lot more peace. Today's Daily Divine Direction broadcast 3D has been brought to you by Fiji Water. A taste of paradise will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. May God bless you today. May God keep his face turned towards you. May God give you peace that surpasses all understanding. Have a great day today. And remember, we want to stay connected with you through our internet radio station, WKAPFaith.com, where we play music 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year that will encourage